Welcome guys, my name is Sinitar and this video is something very special for me. It is something that warms my heart, and if you know what original Gothic series is, if you remember that absolutely amazing game, this video will turn your life upside down. And I'm not joking, but before I'll do that, give me just a few moments to briefly tell about Gothic series itself for those who may have forget or for those who opened this video accidentally. Gothic is one of that games considered to be a masterpiece standard in the world of RPG. It was actually one of the first completely open-world RPGs, at least one of the first successful, and so all-embracing, you know. It has its own universe, huge territory and storyline to explore, extensive dialogue system and absolutely unique atmosphere, supported by amazing Kai Rosenkranz soundtracks. Also, as a side note, I want to give a little shout out as tribute to his amazing music. Not so long ago, he released a complete new album after a few years of silence. Consider to check it out, it is amazing. And back to Gothic. It has that spirit that simply makes you dive into the gameplay completely, forgetting about everything else. Playing Gothic is really like reading your favorite book, but just with you as protagonist. This is exactly what most of modern games lack, and this is exactly a reason why thousands of people are still replaying Gothic even now, despite it is more than 15 years old. This game was thrilling, this game was interesting, this game was hard. But enough for introduction, let us go to the main part. I told you in the video title that Gothic 2 is back, it is continued. I told you about Complete Remaster and I did not lie to you. Just a brief characteristics of original game and its mechanics in overall so you can compare. Vanilla Gothic 2, with Night of the Raven add-on of course, had 6 story chapters, 4 big locations, well, actually 3, Korinis, Yarkandar and the Valley of Mines, cause Irdorat is pretty small endgame location and you can go back to Korinis from it. It also had 3 guilds to join, Paladins, Mercenaries and Fire Mages in Monastery. There were also 4 secondary guilds, you was able to join them all, in addition to chosen main guild. These guilds were the Waterine, Thieves, Bandits and Pirates. There were one-handed and two-handed weapons, bows and crossbows as a ranged weapon, and fire magic for mages, as well as some scrolls. As the main attributes, there were health and mana, remember there was no stamina, and usual attributes like strength, agility, mana and weapon skills. You was also able to learn a few professions like smithing to make weapons, skinning to make hunting more interesting, and the basic alchemy things to prepare healing, mana potions and some permanent attributes potions. Well, basically that's it. And now I want to kindly ask you to just sit, take a cup of tea and try to imagine everything I will describe. Imagine there is an add-on to the game that expands it in all directions, giving you more than 250 hours of gameplay. And once again, no, I am not joking. Not 25 hours, 250 hours of gameplay. Imagine, this add-on makes the game like 4 or 5 times bigger. Imagine, it is fully voiced and in overall the quality is so great and the add-on itself is done so, well, let's say friendly to original game and its universe, that if you haven't played the game for a few years, you often most likely will not even notice where is the original game content and where is the add-on content. Game now has 32 locations. From this list, 8 locations are completely new world spaces and have huge territory to explore. Almost all vanilla locations were corrected, lore-friendly, redesigned and so on. Hundreds of new weapons, armors and other items. Many of them are having unique passive and active abilities. Most of objects in the game now have drastically improved high-poly models, including character faces. A lot of new and expanded interactive objects in the world. A lot of new landscape and flora objects, grass, trees, rocks, mountains and so on. New HD textures for landscapes, items, characters. More than 300 of new quests in total and dozens of new storylines. New plot twists of already known old quests. Completely reworked game ending that it always deserved for. more than 100 of new named NPCs with its own temper. Optional survival and needs system, fatigue, hunger and thirst. New species of monsters, new types of magic, new teleport system, new immersive animations for combat and spellcasting, 4 new levels of game difficulty, absolutely new balance of character development based on guild, playstyle and chosen difficulty. As was said before, almost 100% voiced by professional and semi-professional voice actors. And in addition, endless amount of cut content restored. Now, you can join and actually play as member of different main guilds that were cut from the original game, Water Mages, Templars, Guru. By playing as guild member, I actually mean that you will have all these class spells, quests and progression. For the first time, you can play as Necromancer. Secondary guilds were drastically improved and expanded, and new secondary guilds were added. You can join Brotherhood of Assassins, Hunters or even the Trading Guild. There is now stamina that affects your combat damage and speed, as well as huge amount of new attributes, masteries and professions. Have you ever wondered why you can craft weapons when you are Harrod's apprentice, but never was able to craft bows as Bosper's apprentice? Now you can do that. Alchemy, smithing and hunting were expanded drastically, received new recipes and balancing tweaks. There is now a complete new magic attribute, Intellect, that affects magic damage. Literally dozens of gameplay mechanics that were not realized in the original game were reworked and now work as actual skills. For example, remember that rhetoric book? Now, rhetoric is a fully functional skill that allows you to get new dialogue lines in quests, better prices, persuade people and so on. It would be simply impossible for me to fully describe all the new skills and mechanics, so I will just briefly name them. Combat classes now can learn shield combat and dual wielding, and orcish weapon mastery and crafting, learn how to poison your weapon and so on. Also, there are now completely agility-based weapons and new armors, so yes, now you can play a full game, didn't spend a single skill point into strengths. Beliar and Innos now have karma system that actually have influence on your gameplay, quests and so on, and you can have valuable blessings from them. Magic damage scales with your intellect. Fully functional new and improved old professions and masteries. Smithing, alchemy, rune crafting, mining, javel crafting, ore and weapons smelting, reworked pickpocket and lockpicking, scroll crafting, rhetoric, demonology, armor reforging, fire, magic, holy arrows and bows crafting, a lot of new hunting skills, cooking and brewing. All magic guilds and their classes respectively have unique magic effects. Fire magic burn enemies and can reduce their fire resistance. Water magic has a chance to freeze enemies. Necromancer spells can drain your enemy's health and decrease their physical resistances. Guru spells from the Swamp Camp is a control masterpiece. Stuns, mana drain, knockups and so on. Also, the game itself in overall became much more harder, challenging and rewarding. Almost all vanilla exploits were removed, combat became more aggressive and dynamic. But don't worry, character controls are still absolutely the same. Everything together is called Gothic 2 Returning. It is a huge mod developed by a tiny team of enthusiast modders, scriptwriters and different voice actors. The only moment in this is that team itself is Russian, so initial voice acting in the add-on is Russian. But attention, it is not a big problem at all, as there is an English subtitle translation for it. That's actually just a little moment, and I will tell more detailed about it in the upcoming video where I will make installation guide for Returning 2.0. The mod itself is free, so the only you will need for it is a base version of a game, Gothic 2 Gold Edition. But if you don't want to wait and want to try and install everything right now, I will also include the links to mod and translation pages in video description. Very soon, I will also start a Let's Play series of this amazing huge mod, so you will be able to see everything with your own eyes if you don't have time to play it yourself. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is about DirectX 11 Renderer. It is a completely separate project from Returning mod itself, as it's improving only graphics part of the game, but it works perfectly with the great meshes and textures of the Returning. DirectX 11 Renderer is working very similar to ENB in Skyrim. It allows to partially move game engine from DirectX 7, Gothic had very old engine based on DirectX 7, and move it to DirectX 11. That brings graphics to a completely new level. Real-time rain and snow cover, god rays, water shaders, detailed shadows, dynamic lighting, distant tree and mountain slopes, textures parallax, normal maps, and so on. Actually, you have seen all that while watching this video. Just find some shots or videos with original Gothic and compare them with shots from my video. You'll be pretty much surprised. Well, that's all for today, my friends. I really hope that this video was like wow for you, the same as this amazing add-on was for me. I just very briefly described the features of returning, but trust me, I did not cover even like 10% of it. That's why I was not afraid to call it a remaster. It is huge, it can really give you that 250 hours of gameplay, and it's hard even to believe that it is done by just a few people. So, if you enjoyed the video, subscribe and be sure to enable channel notifications to not miss returning Let's Play episodes and the installation guide. Feel free to join channel community in Discord. Thank you for watching, my friends, and stay tuned. Scimitar Gaming here, signing out.